guys. Tonight we say goodbye to Boomer, but we say hello to a special guest. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
AfterBuzz TV, welcome. We have a special guest on tonight. That's our biggest news, and we are so excited to have you. Lidya Jewett is on. She plays Sara Hill on Good Girls. So how are you doing? Say hello, and we'll introduce our panel here.
Hey! It's so great to be here. I love it.
We're so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
All right. And Juliet.
I'm back. I missed you guys last week. You killed it, I have to say. You did so good.
Girl, I missed you so much.
But yeah, really great episode and amazing guest. So yeah, let's get into it.
I know. Today's going to be fun. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. A huge plot twist happened. We got rid of Boomer. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about your parts, doing a little bit of interviewing, and we're going to be talking about Rio and how his character is changing up a little bit. So we have that to look forward to, plus we have predictions and news coming up, so that will be fun. Sarah, well, I want to call you Sarah, but Lydia, I'm excited to hear what your predictions are going to be for the show. I think you have a little insider info.
Maybe.
I know you won't be able to talk
maybe
about
not.
it. We'll see if we can get it out of you. How about that? Okay,
I'm not easy to crack.
I'll see. I'll be the
kind
judge
of
of
am,
that. I'll just scooch over a little bit, you know. Okay, so first in the show we saw Mary Pat had this huge point in the show where she killed Boomer.
Yes.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN.
Guys, you are tuned into AfterBuzz. Thanks for watching right here on YouTube. And just to jump right into the show, Mary Pat ends up killing Boomer, which is not something that I saw coming. The girls were leading up to killing Boomer throughout this whole series, all of season 1 and all up into season 2. And then here we go, out of the blue, Mary Pat just backs into Boomer and accidentally kills him.
I know. I feel like that's the worst way to kill someone, like
But on
accidentally.
Was it though really accidentally? Because I feel like, I mean, she hit him accidentally, but she did not back up accidentally. Like she full on like, she's like, oops, I hit you. Like, back that up.
Yeah, it's like she accidentally hit him, but she was like, what should I do?
I know. And we found out that she really didn't know what to do because the body didn't fit anywhere, so she had to chop up
When
some
I was
pieces.
reading that script, like the table read, it was hilarious because we always like joke in the table read, and so the scene where Ruby is like saying no, the entire room blew up because it was like we were like. It was like, and you know those electric knives that you use to
that line
at Thanksgiving, and I was like, that was like really me. I was like, no.
I know, and that's a very vivid description to talk about the electric knife and all of that. So you obviously weren't there for the scene because you did not involve your character, but you are there for the table read, so you get to hear all of the whole episode.
I do.
There's kind of, these are not, PG topics.
Yeah.
Like, we just killed a guy off of the show. Like, how is that for you getting to hear all of this imagery, I guess, and hearing all of the scenes?
Well, I feel like it doesn't affect me as much because I know that it's acting. It's just a plot in a story. It's a very realistic story because of the 3 mothers, but also some parts of it are just the imagination. They're realistic things, obviously, but they are the imagination of the writers. So to a degree, it's like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with hearing that because it's like through one ear, out the other. I understand that it's real, but I don't bring it in my life,
And I mean, I guess there's movies that also talk about that, but they do get to some vivid things, I guess, throughout the show, and they talk about some really heavy topics, like last season Boomer had a very, like, he's drunk. We talked about Sadie going through some hardships and things like that too. So, stealing things, the DNA test and everything like that. So you've got to be there through it all, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really love being at the table reads because it's always something new. I don't like reading the scripts before the table reads because I like being surprised. I like being like, wait, what? I like hearing it because it's, even though I'm not watching it, I can imagine it, and I feel like that's the best part. And this type of show with these, like, bumps that they have to overcome, I'm a huge reader, so those types of books I really love, and so I think that's what really makes a show.
That's pretty cool. And then how often do you do the table reads? Are they right before each episode, or do you go through and do a lot of table reads and then film?
Well,
how does that work?
It's like, it's not really a, like, okay, we just finished this episode, the next day we're doing the table read. Finish this episode, next day table read. It's not really that, but we usually do it, we read the first episode, and then we shoot that episode, and then we read the second episode, then we shoot that episode, and on and on and on.
Okay, yeah. That's got to be a full room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters on your show, I'll say that.
Yeah, sometimes there'll be people, like, sometimes they won't, sometimes they can't make it, so there's this person who just reads the lines, like, mom number 1, they'll read it. So
yeah, well, I feel like, Juliet and I can come in there and
I'll be mom number 1.
I'll be mom number 2.
I would push for it.
There we go.
I would love that.
I can read sometimes, There you go. Yeah. I like it. Okay, so we saw that scene. Boomer is now officially chopped liver, for a lack of a better terminology. And the girls are kind of left with the body. And because of your scene, you do a class report about landfills.
Okay, can I just say, I
Absolutely.
loved that scene.
Okay.
Like, it was like, yes, another speech. Because the first episode, I mean, like, that's a hard speech to beat. They started off really strong with that, and I loved it. And then when I heard that I was doing another speech, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was so excited because I was like, yay, I get to learn about another topic that I didn't know about, but I get to be acting through it. So I feel like that's like a win-win for me.
That's pretty cool. And the first speech that you did, I remember that speech.
They're so good. Your delivery's so great. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, how, like, the process of that?
Well, it was hilarious because that day I was sick.
Oh, like, the day for the landfill, or the day for the
day for the first speech,
the first one that
like the screaming, and so I was sick, and so my mom, like, whenever, like, I would, like, kind of do it, we would go through the scene, but then after she could hear, like, some in my throat, and so she would just get, like, a lemon tea or something, and I'd drink it and I'd be fine. And so it's hilarious because I was sick that day, and so that was an amazing scene, can I just say, because it was like, I loved the fire part where I was about to set the book on fire right next to my oxygen tank.
Yes.
That is a very bad hazard. Do not do that at home. But don't do that experiment. But I actually loved that part.
It was really good. It was very powerful. We talked about it on the show. And was that the one, I think I read somewhere, was that what you auditioned with? That scene?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I auditioned with that scene, but it was hilarious because that audition scene had, like, so many curse words in it. Like, it had, I'm not going to say them, I'm not even going to mention them, but they had so many curse words, and I'm like, Mom, what am I going to do about this? And so she's like, I don't know.
And wait, were you allowed, did you say them? Were they?
It was actually, sometimes they revise the scripts to send to you, and so they revised that knowing that I was only, like, I don't even know how old I was then. I'm like 9 or 10 years old, and so they were like, this is a 9/10-year-old. We should probably change this up a little bit. Maybe keep, like, the same attitude, but take out some of the words.
And then you didn't cuss in the scene, right?
No.
Okay, so that
We
changed
didn't,
too.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. I don't even. gosh darn it, to heck, I will not read this book. No,
Yeah.
I understand. That's very cool, and the writers seem really cool on it too.
They do. They're
Juliet and I have been
amazing.
talking about the writing.
So much. I mean, it's so good. I think what our favorite thing about the show is that they're able to talk about dark subjects, and then yet there's always humor, and there's always kind of that tongue-in-cheek, which I really, really, really enjoy. And going back to your scene today, is there anything that you learned in terms of like trash field? Was it trash fields?
Landfills, yeah,
Landfills.
trash, yeah.
I mean, I'm huge on learning, and so when I did that scene, I was like, this is very interesting. Like, one of the scenes I had actually accidentally missed because there was an actual picture of the landfills, and so I was like, wow. And so they were speaking behind me, and I was like, I was just looking at it, thinking I had time, and then the director called out, Lydia?
Oh no!
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And so I was just like, I'm huge on learning, so I loved just seeing that, and I feel like that's a huge problem, and I just love thinking of ways how I can change that or help make that a little bit better.
Yeah, once you've learned about that, is it you said it's kind of like eye-opening for you, and I mean, it was eye-opening as an audience member, because I think it said that there was like you could walk, or it took you 2 hours, I think,
2
to
hours
walk.
to walk from one side of it to the other. That was like, when I was reading this, usually I read a script, and I can memorize it pretty easy because I read a lot. But in this one, I was like, I wasn't just memorizing it. I was like, wow, 200 miles. And it's like, they don't just make this stuff up. They actually do research, and they put facts behind it. So I'm like, wow. And so that was very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, that's incredible to think about. So going off that, in the scene, they realize that, they can throw the body in the trash.
Yeah.
So we see the girls, that was a really hard moment for all 3 girls, I think, taking the body, throwing it into the dumpster and the chopped, and it looked really heavy. It had just been in the freezer, all of that. Juliet, are we excited that Boomer is now dead? Like, how are we feeling right now?
I don't know, because part of me, I enjoyed, in a show, it's kind of nice to have the bad guy because it adds so many different storylines. Although, again, like the writers are so competent, I know that something else is going to arise. He's definitely not the only bad guy, but I liked him because he provided humor as much as he provided stress for all of us. So, yeah, I just hope we'll be introduced to someone else.
I feel like, now that he's gone, who is going to take that place as being the bad guy? Because we have Rio.
Yeah, we always have Rio.
We always have Rio, who's the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that you always have Rio.
He was
He's gonna be
in
rough.
jail and he came out, so I think we're pretty set on him.
On Rio.
He'll find a way to get out of something.
Yes, but with Boomer, he was just that kind of like, he's not very smart. He's like that dumb comedic relief that we have. And I don't know who's going to fill those shoes.
I know.
Lydia, do we have anybody that might fill those shoes? Wink, wink,
I
nudge, nudge.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe we'll talk about that in predictions.
Maybe.
Okay, so now Boomer's gone. I feel the same way that you do about that, I think, because at the beginning of season 1, I really appreciated his humor. I really liked that, and then now in this last season, he's been painted as just being a bad guy and sexually assaulting people and things like that, and so that is really painting a negative picture where you want him to be gone. And when Mary Pat kind of said that she wanted him dead, then that was kind of the nudge that we needed with the audience to be on board with that, I think. Yeah.
And it was very interesting when Boomer died, because I was like, I saw it coming because Boomer is just like, it was leading up to it, obviously. But when he actually died, I was like, dang, I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss his like comedic stupidity.
Same.
And
I
so
know.
it's like, with a bad character, you really want him gone until he's actually gone.
You're so right. That's
And
exactly
it's like,
how I feel.
But the story isn't the same without him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I really hope somebody does come.
Yes.
I'm not going to say if they do or do not.
Okay.
But I really want to. Trust
Me
me.
too.
But,
Me too. Fill that
but
void.
I can't.
Okay.
But yeah, I really love where the writers went with that.
Yeah, I do too. And just killing off a character, that's pretty bold for any kind of show to do. So then at the end of the episode, we kind of are looking at Rio a little bit differently. He is playing tennis with his attorney.
I know.
And throughout the show, we're seeing a different light of Rio.
Yeah.
He is, first of all, in season 1, he's just bad gangster guy.
Yeah.
Now he's moved on to, we see he has a son.
I know.
And his son is playing in the same park that Beth's kids play in.
That freaked me out. I was like, wait, what?
You don't want to think about Rio
Oh
having
my
a
gosh.
kid.
Yeah, it makes it so much harder to want him gone.
Exactly.
He's a good father, might I add,
He
right?
is,
With that whole
yeah.
little small scene where the kid's like, I want to go on the playground. He goes, no, life is tough. You have to wait your turn.
Yeah.
You would think he'd be like, yeah, go hit him or whatever. Like, be a gangster, like, on the
Yeah.
playground. What's up? You know? And he's not. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You're seeing a little bit of compassion or empathy towards Rio, and then at the very end he's doing normal things like playing tennis at the country club, and that just paints him as like, oh, he's a normal guy doing normal things. So I really want him to
all.
Yeah, I know, and he's really not. So
Yeah.
I feel like the writers want us to just continue liking him. Like we've already, there's such a fan base for Rio.
Yes, Brio.
Such a fan.
Brio. I'm on
Beth
the
and
side
Rio.
of Brio.
Oh my goodness.
Do you remember in the first season when they were like at the coffee shop and as Rio was going out, he touched Beth's shoulder?
Oh, he always does things like that.
I
And then he
know.
like touches her
I
hair
know.
back
And calls her
to flip
Elizabeth.
it. Oh,
It's
Elizabeth.
It's like
Lydia, you should not be thinking about boys. Boys have cooties. Stop it.
I don't believe that anymore. I didn't believe that to begin with.
This is for me and Juliet. Okay, Brio is for me and Juliet. Okay, you're too young. Too young. Yeah, we have been on that team for a long time.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Can we all just take a
Enough
Brio
said.
moment?
It's just like that daydreaming about Brio. It's like,
I know. Woo! So that always takes a steamy hot second to get over through those episodes. But yeah, so that was kind of our episode. We just it was all about Leslie. Oh, you're totally fine. It's all about Leslie just getting kicked off the show. So, and we're kind of in mixed emotions, I think, over that.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
What were you thinking about the fact that that they decided to help cover up the body versus, just kind of letting it, he did die in her home, like, should we just let that be on her hands? Where do we stand with that?
Okay, so at first I was thinking what Annie was thinking, which is, well, we're out, our hands are clean because this happened to Mary Pat and we can just step away. But then as Beth started talking and was like, we had the gun. We were about to kill him. This was going to be our problem anyways.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, Beth, like that sounds like the responsible decision. And I'm glad that they helped because Mary Pat has already been a little shady and like blackmailing the girls before. And I feel like she could have turned on them again.
But didn't she at the end of the episode?
Where she's talking to Agent Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Is she turning on him? Is that what that means? Or is she working with them?
I think it's so hard to tell because I barely remember this because we did 13 episodes this season.
Yeah.
And so it was so hard to remember this. And so I don't even remember what comes next. So it's like, it's really fun the farther and farther we get from the rap because it's like, wait, what happened then? And so it's like you become an actual part of the audience. Sure, you're on the show, but it's also like, whoa, I don't remember that happening.
Right.
And so it's really fun just to see that. And when I saw her at Agent Turner's, at first I was like, Mary Pat?
Yeah.
But then as I went on, I was like, well, the way she said it, she's worried about Leslie. I don't know.
I'm teeter-tottering. Because I thought the same thing, but I took it as maybe I want her to work with the girls. I'll just say that.
too.
So watching that, I was leaning towards that decision. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. But you're thinking, I can see it in your eyes. You think that she's turning on the girls.
I do not trust that woman.
That's true.
That's very
She
hard. I'll
chopped
just
the
bump
man
with her.
up.
Oh.
Like,
Just to fit.
which
She
Oh,
wasn't
gosh.
thinking.
She really wasn't because this 100% could have been covered up as like an accident.
Yes. And yeah, if she wouldn't have touched the body, this could have all been dealt with naturally.
She just could have got out of the house, freaked out, called the cop, like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he was doing behind me, this and that. Like, the kids are in the car, like, you know. She would have to move the bag. That's the one thing, though, because in the bags, like, they emptied out the house, so that's a little shitty, but yeah. Anyways.
I still loved, like, a few things, sorry. I still loved, like, the shot where they're going to the back of the car after she just hit Leslie, and all the kids just have their headphones on looking at their iPads, and I was like...
That was one of the funniest moments.
A man just died under your car, and you still have your head buried in your iPad.
I mean, they were on
that was just
Instagram,
hilarious.
or they were watching YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're watching our show, you know?
Nudge,
Last
nudge.
week's episode. So
Yeah.
we're really captivating, and you won't even notice if you hit someone.
Yeah.
Point of the
And
show.
I still loved when the girls were like, when Mary Pat was saying what she did with the body, the girls were still like, okay, you moved him inside because it was hot. That's still, kind of.
Yeah, that was a funny moment to
Yeah.
kind of see their reactions.
I love
and
how
have a
they were
breath here
trying to go
doing
as
that.
far as they could innocently.
Right.
And I was like, you know this isn't going to work out. Come on. Just
No.
admit it already and it'll be easier.
I know. Well, it was a really good show overall. I enjoyed this episode, and I feel like we covered a lot of ground on this episode. Just a couple other things I wanted to ask you. So we had a couple people who wanted to ask questions from our viewers. So we had JC, and she wants to know what your favorite movie is.
Oh, my favorite movie
Yes.
is. Can it be a movie or a movie series?
I think either one that you want to answer.
Either one. Got it. Okay. Geez. It's like so hard when they ask these questions because it's like I've watched so many movies.
I know, and to narrow
it's
it down.
kind of unhealthy, but for me, but I've watched so many movies, and
I
so
know. And to pick like your recent movie, or like, do you pick an old one, or do you pick a comedy,
like
or
a classic, or like a one
this
that you just
isn't
love.
gonna brand you for the rest of your life.
I know. It's like
I
Lydia Jewett
promise.
said this was her favorite movie.
It's with you forever.
I know.
Anything that sticks out,
Ooh,
or
so
maybe a
much
TV
pressure.
show, or
I mean,
or
I'll do-
anything
I'll
you're
do
watching
movie.
now. Okay,
I'll do
okay.
movie because I feel like it's easier with movie. I will say the classic Disney movies are awesome, like the Starstruck, like Camp Rock, things like that. But also, like, I love Suicide Squad with Will Smith. I feel like I shouldn't have watched that, but I watched it with my mom and my sister, but I just loved it. I was like, we usually pick like 2 movies, and we're like, which one should we watch? Because we can't watch both of these tonight. And so it was like Suicide Squad or like Central Intelligence or something, and I was like, Suicide Squad, please.
Oh my
And we
gosh.
ended up watching Suicide Squad, and I loved it so much.
They have a really good soundtrack. I'll say that.
They do.
I like that.
I loved that movie.
And then we have one more from Jenny, and she says she's asking. She says that you've worked on a lot of movies, high-profile movies. You've worked on some Oscar-nominated movies like Hidden Figures, and Black Panther. And she wants to know what it's like to work with some of these high-profile actors.
Well, it's funny with the movies that I've been in because I've usually played the younger versions of the main actors, and so I don't really like in Darkest Minds when I played the younger version of Ruby. Hint. Ruby. The older Ruby is played by Amanda Stenberg, who is an awesome actress. I love her so much, and it's just. The one scene that we really did together was that one scene where like she's like looking back with Patty. That's the person who plays that character. But she's looking back with Patty, and they're seeing me as that's like the only scene that we did together because it's very hard for the older version of. Of the person with the younger version of the person,
Right.
And so
You're the same person. You can't really, unless it's like a
different
time-traveling movie,
Yeah.
then it's really hard
Which is
to be
kind
with
of like Darkest
them.
Minds, so that kind of worked. But with Hidden Figures, I got to meet the main 3 women, and that was awesome. I loved it. And we had this, and I just feel like it's such an honor to be a part of these movies because playing the younger version of Lupita Nyong'o, who is just an amazing actress. I love her so much. And it's just an honor to play these roles. Young Catherine Coleman. It's just, I I feel so lucky to be in this place that I am right now.
Yeah, that's incredible. Have they bestowed any words of wisdom to you? Like, is there anything that you think of that sticks out of your mind that's like, I learned this from them, or they said something, or
this isn't really from the movies, but on Good Girls, the first season, I mean, all of it really. Reno Wilson, who plays my father, Stan Hill, he just tells me, keep it real, keep it natural, make it feel like you're the real person, make it feel like you're not Reno, but you're actually Stan. Like, Stan is a real person you can find in Detroit, Michigan. Make it seem like you're actually that person.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I love that.
I know.
What made you want to get into acting in the first place?
I mean, I love acting, but it wasn't really I want to be an actress mom. I was adopted when I was 4 years old from Ethiopia, and so people would come up to me and say, you should be on commercials. People would come up to me and my mom and say, you should be on commercials. And so my mom knew what that was because she saw commercials on there, and so this went on for about a year, and then one more person came up to us, and we were just like, okay, we have to look into this, or this is just going to keep on going. And so we looked into it, and we started doing like print since we were in Florida. So we went in Miami, Orlando, places like that, and it just really went from there. And so people on the commercials would come up to us and say, you should direct her to on camera. And she didn't really know what that meant at the time, and so obviously we do now. But so we just worked our way, and we went from print to commercials, national commercials, and then an agency here in Los Angeles picked me up, and it went from there.
That is awesome. Yeah. And being from Ethiopia.
I know.
That is incredible. That's such a long journey.
It's very eye-opening for me. Sorry, it's very eye-opening for me because it's like if I had not been adopted, none of this would have happened. Because a lot of girls, when I'm older, when I have a bit more money, I want to build wells in Africa. It's because a lot of the girls the girls my age in Africa, they have to walk to like ponds and lakes and rivers to get water for their families, and usually it's not clean water. And so building wells in their communities will help them go to school because they have to walk all that way and back, and so they don't have time to go to school. Yeah. And so building wells in their communities will help provide that water that they need, and that'll just help them go to school, that'll get educated. Me and my mom always say, one person can educate their family, the family can educate the village, and the village can educate the community.
Oh my gosh, you are wise beyond your years. That gave me the goosebumps. That is incredible, and it's so true. Gosh. No, you're great.
I'm like hitting it.
What a great story that you have too. One last thing that I want to start before we get into our predictions and our news and our special segment is that you have played a lot of serious roles, and on Good Girls, there's been a couple moments where you're playing very serious roles, but they're so funny. Yeah. And it just makes me laugh out loud. Even on this last episode, at the very beginning of the episode, you were doing a monologue, and it just made me laugh out loud, even though you were serious. Do you want to stay with serious roles, or are you going to get into comedy? Have you ever thought about that? Or
I love comedy. I love like watching a show and going, oh my gosh. I'm like, sometimes I have a problem with laughing. Like, that is a real thing. Some people have a problem with laughing. I am one of those people.
I have a big laugh. I'll say that.
If I start laughing a lot, I won't stop. Like, I'll laugh for like 2 minutes, and my mom will be like, this happened like 5 minutes ago. Why are you still laughing? And so I'm like, it's just a thing. And so
it would be dangerous if you did comedy.
It would be very dangerous.
You would laugh too much.
You know, like when you watch comedy and you can almost see if it's like a really funny thing, the person who did it is like fighting back laughing. Yes. And I'm like, that would be you. Sometimes I watch SNL, just like little segments of SNL, and I'm like, I would die in this show.
I love that show. Maybe you can host it one day.
Maybe. Yes. I've always loved seeing that.
Yeah. And you have already, we've talked about this, done so much as just barely a 12-year-old. Where are you going after this? You've done an Oscar-winning movie, a couple of them now, and you're on a series. So, I mean, where are you going? What are you going to do now? Like, where do you go from there?
Me and my mom always say, like, with some kids, they go like they get to the, as we say, the top of the mountain when they're like 13. And so what I say is like either you can go to the top of the mountain and then go right back down, or you be like Shonda Rhimes or something, you go to the top of the mountain and then you make another mountain for yourself to climb. And so I feel like that's what I want to do. I just want to keep progressing in my acting and in what I do, and I love it so much, so that's easier. And I know that this is work, but when you love your work, it doesn't seem like work anymore. It seems like what you actually want to do. And so that's just what I love about this.
So you'll keep acting, you think?
Yes,
forever?
Definitely.
Well, good, because we want to keep watching.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll definitely do some comedy. I will try to make myself a little bit more.
I like that.
I see your doubtful. I
don't know if I trust it. But maybe like an SNL, like you can try it out a little bit, you know. But
maybe I'll be the musical guest and do one of the sketches.
There you go. That might be good. Like start with one sketch, you know, or two. We can all laugh. Okay, let's jump into our predictions.
Ooh. I love this part. It's the best part of the episode. We kind of just theorize what we think is going to happen next episode, which I know you have all the answers to.
Okay, might I say I still don't remember much. So even if you did try to crack me, there's not much to crack.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about since again we do want spoilers, but we honestly don't really want spoilers. If you what would you want to see in the upcoming episodes? Like if you were in charge, what would you want to see?
I would want to see like I was really sad at the end of the episode when they were listening to the voicemails. I was like, no.
Yes, with Marianne.
I just have to say that actress, June Squibb, is an amazing actress. She's so adorable. I love her so much. And,
I do too.
I just feel like it's awesome that she's at this age and she's still doing this and she's still loving it and she's still being great at it. And so I just want to give a shout out to her.
We love you.
We love you
Grandma!
so much.
Marianne, we love you.
But that really touched me. And so I was like, no.
So so is your prediction, would you want to see more of her?
Oh, yes, definitely. I would definitely want to see more of Marianne. I would want to see her figure it out instead of being told. I would want her to figure it out and then, like, not say that she figured it out, but, like, play coy with the girls since she's kind of friends with Annie now, and play coy with her and be like, do you know where my Leslie is? And she'll know, but she'll see Annie squirming and she'll be like,
that would be fun. See Grandma crack the code.
Feel my wrath.
I love that. I think that's really cool.
I
think she deserves her own spin-off and you as head writer. That's what I see. That's my prediction, guys.
Okay. Do you have other predictions? Anything else?
I really do think that the girls are in trouble. And I think that they're going to be framed for the murder, her Boomer's murder.
I think you're right. I don't want to say it.
I mean, like with Mary Pat, she can't say that she thinks that these women killed Boomer because, first of all...
She killed him?
Well, yeah, first of all, she killed him. But second of all, how does she know these women?
Yeah.
That's true.
That is true. But I feel like she's really washing her hands of anything. If anything does come up, she's very clean because she's the one who went to the police worried. She's the one who, you know.
She's the one who came clean.
Sorta.
And
I'm going to say my prediction is going to be now that Beth has the key to that safe, the storage unit, and she's like the big boss, I think she's going to keep working with Rio. And I think this is what I hope, that Mary Pat and the girls work together. That's my prediction. Yes. Okay?
Honestly, I really want Beth to become a Rio.
Yeah,
like that type of thing.
Me too.
Like Rio didn't become Rio like that.
Yeah,
he started out like Beth. You
gotta start somewhere.
Seriously, that's the point. Start somewhere. It's not like I just still love. I'm not gonna say it, but I just still love when he says, "Be a boss."
Be a boss.
Yeah, and so
all
it's
those girls are bosses.
At first, when he said that to his little boy, like, just you have to wait until the monkey bars are free. I was like, I was very interested at that. I was like, I would think he would go up there and say, get off the monkey bars. My kid wants to do it, so he's going to do it now. Get off.
I know.
I was expecting that, but then it just went like that. And I was like, well,
Yep.
it's kind of understandable, I would say. I mean, not to a certain degree. It's like, why though?
I know. He's just like Beth. We're seeing like that comparison
Yeah.
and that. So that's pretty cool. I like your inside info. We're going to move on real quick to a little bit of news.
Okay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right. So I've got some news. Retta, who plays Ruby.
Yes.
She has a book out, which is amazing. So you can
Yes.
order that. And then she also will be, if you live in LA, she's going to be at the Getty Museum doing a performance. So she performs on March 24th, and she's with the Short Stories comedy. There's a big line of comedians that are going to be performing. So if you want to see Retta live, you can see her at the Getty Museum.
That's awesome.
March 24th, so you can get your tickets online on her Twitter. So yeah, so that's our big news for today. Do you have any news coming up as far as what you're doing next?
I mean, not really. I'm just
Okay.
gonna be chilling, doing school,
Coming back
reading.
here?
Coming back here, yes, definitely.
Yes, talking about the episode.
Yes.
Perfect. So we love that.
Just come here every Monday, just talking about the last episode.
We would don't say that because we'll be
Absolutely.
like grabbing our
Lydia.
phones.
Okay.
So, said you'd be here. What's going on?
Lydia, we're waiting for you. We're about to start.
Yo, Lydia, you want to come to this next Monday episode? We love you.
Absolutely. Yes. That would be amazing. So we'll, watch out, guys. We're gonna have Lydia on much more. Next, we have our final segment, and it's my favorite segment. The Baddest Good Girl.
Ooh, that sounds
Okay.
that sounds good in a bad way.
I know. Juliet, would you like to explain what the Baddest Good Girl is?
Oh, explain. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, explain.
So this is the moment where we kind of pick out of all of our characters in this episode, who we think was just the baddest, and the baddest, but like in a
good way.
when someone's bad, but like they're good. It's endearing. So who do we
Yeah.
think was maybe like a boss this week?
Oh.
Do you want to start?
No.
Let's go clockwise. Let's go clockwise.
Oh, okay. Put it on me this time. Okay.
You never start in the middle. I'm just saying. You never start
we
in the
can
middle
switch it
for things
up.
like that.
Okay, you're right.
yes.
You're right. I'm going to say my baddest good girl for this episode is Mary Pat.
Oh.
Oh, I think did I steal yours?
What?
No?
No.
Okay,
no.
okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
just
But
thinking
tell
that's
us
a really
why.
good one.
Mary Pat, and I am saying that because she killed Boomer, and that was what we wanted to happen this whole season, and she's the one that got her done.
Yeah.
So to say. So that is my baddest good girl for the week.
Yeah.
All right, Lydia, you're up. You're in the hot seat.
Skip. Oh my gosh. Maybe my baddest good girl would be
No pressure.
no pressure. Just
There's
like
a
the
lot-
Jeopardy.
There's a lot of girls to choose from.
Gosh. I would say my baddest good girl is Beth.
Love it.
Why?
Maybe. I mean, it's harder because I'm like looking at it from the entire season.
That's true.
But you're looking at it from the episode, so that's easier. But I
Yeah.
really want to do it the season.
Okay.
But it's like I still love that scene where she's like putting the hand sanitizer on and she's just lathering it all over her face and neck. I loved that.
Yeah.
But I also loved when she was putting up that stop sign, and then
Yes.
Rio was there. She was just like, I don't want to fight anymore.
That was
I
good.
just want this to be over.
Mhm.
And like you said, the hair, the hair, and it's like, and so I just feel like she's becoming the boss. It was Annie's idea to shoplift,
Yeah.
but it was Beth confirming it.
And went
Like
through with it.
it was, they were just making fun, but it was Beth who said, "Let's do it."
I like it.
And
I like that
so
answer.
She started the entire thing.
Yeah,
That's true.
that is true.
All right, Juliet, who is your baddest good girl?
I'm gonna push it because I think all three of them get it. Just because to have the being able to go in that bag to reach for that cell phone. All three of them, I'm sorry, they deserve a medal.
No.
That was something.
I still love when Ruby's holding it and she's like praying and she's like, and they're having their like Annie and Beth are having their own little conversation, and then in little intervals it's just Ruby saying,
"Forgive me for my trespasses.
Yes.
Forgive me for what I've done.
For my sins."
Yes. That's good.
I still love that. Ruby has all the faces though.
She
like when you
does.
see
She's
all of the
talented.
gifts, it's like
her eyes, I know she's
her
so.
eyes, yes.
Especially that scene we talked at length about, just when they were discovering what happened in the body. She's just, she
she's
wasn't,
like,
out of all the characters, she was talking the least, but she was saying the most with her face.
Yes.
She's such a great actress.
Oh, this was such a good show, guys.
It was. I'm so sad it's
we
over.
loved having you on the show,
I love
Lydia.
being here.
You are incredible to talk to, a wealth of information, wise beyond your years.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you coming out, and we will see you on lots of other episodes because we're going to keep asking you out. So thank you guys so much for watching our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe us, and you can find us on YouTube and iTunes. And until next week, Juliet, tell the good people where they can find you.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet.
And Lydia, where can everybody find you and follow you on social media?
On Twitter and on Instagram on the same thing, at Lidya Jewett, Lidya.
All right. Thank you so much again. Thank you guys for watching. You can follow me at Kels Hightower, and we will see you right back here next week.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.